Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming. My name is Vane de la Rosa. Today we will talk about the elevators with the purpose of integrating them to the current architectural project. Let me introduce my partners, architect Roberto Paez, architect Carlos Perez, architect Berenice Santos, and a servant architect Vane de la Rosa. We will take into account 3 points to discuss. The first is the meaning and use for a better understanding of the subject. The second it is the history to know where it came from and where it will arrive. And finally, in the third point, we will talk about the brands that are currently in the market, then of the disposition of the equipment in the market.
What is it? It is a vertical transport system designed to move people or objects between the different levels of a developing of a structure. It consists of mechanical, electrical, and electronic parts that work together to get it going. The materials that are manufactured vary according to the term function. However, most are made of stainless steel or aluminum. Basic parts. Inside the elevator shaft is a counterweight that is attached to the cab through steel cords. These parts through a pull located in the higher parts. How do it works? In an elevator, the cabin is attracted to the counterweight turn a pulley when the weight goes down, the cabin goes up, and when the cover weights rise, the cabin goes down. If the cabin falls lower, it weighs more than the counterweight. Therefore, is reduced by gravity, generating energy. The same happens when the cabin rises empty. In this case, a covered wing is hovering and also long due to gravity generating energy. Applications. Most of you will think that elevators only exist to transport people. However, these have different use depending on the industry or the place where it is needed. For example, in the food, industry, forklifts in the often use the transport ingredients for the cellars to the kitchen, where are also elevators in the automobile industry, where elevators are called on the transport and even protecting airborne vehicles. And this is all I'm going to say about the use of the elevators. I continue, I see to the video. Welcome to the world of elevators. In this video, we'll look at the operation of elevators. You will be introduced to elevator terms, time, and classification used by the industry. elevators is moving wrong-colored car. The car is made up of many parts, such as line consistent of styles, crossed, bolster or safety flat, platform, brace rod, toe guard, and Platon plate. The car also includes a cab with doors, wainscot or wall panels, handrails, return panels, and emergency two-way communication systems, and strike cams. The car runs on rails much like a train. These rails run from the bottom to the top of the building on other sides of elevators. The hoistway is a vertical space enclosed by 44-way and hoistway doors, and hoistway is something called the hatchway a hatch. There are two types of elevators, hydraulic and traction. The hydraulic elevator usually serving out a flops, stops, and travel speed like the 2,000 feet per minute. Traction elevators are designed for travel buildings and can travel a much higher speeds. Hydraulic elevators are pushed up from understand while traction elevators are pushed up from above. A jack is required to push the hydraulic elevator up. Conventional hydraulic elevator jack strike straight down into the ground as far as the elevator goes up. Digging all the jacks is expensive and difficult. The hydraulic elevator is used only in the lower rise building. The building doesn't need to be reserved because the lot is supported on the jacket. Fighter feature makes hydraulic elevator a very popular design. The high-speed traction elevator has the limit on the height and is unnatural for a race building. The traction elevator is pointed up by cables attracted to the top of the car. The machine room is normally located above the hoistway in an area ignored as a penthouse. This machine room is where a driving machine for the traction elevator is located. Cables is where a rope from the machine room down on the deck when the hallway carried on the carried up the cold tower. There are safety drives on traction elevators that keep the car under control. One such on-device traction elevator is a large cam carrying a safety wing. Activate the or set in and shut the car on the building by grip the rails. The safety is activated by device the machine room carry the governor. The governor monitors the car speed and in the car overspeed the governor remote power and elevator right motor the brake. The car speed is continuing in the raising the door direction the government then set up safety remaining safety of type of funds only a traction elevator. Car safety and governments are not required on hydraulic elevator because they can design no faster that all can spin from the system. Cushion device car foster are located in the bottom of the hoistway and area called the pit. Spring buffers are large springs generally mounted on the stands and use the low speed elevators. The elevator force spring and reinforces in with all caution similar shows observed and ultimately this type buffer and used on the highest speed elevators. Next we will look at elevator operation and difference between Hollywood doors and car doors. The wind stage doors are located on every line saving by elevator. They provide the protection the public when the elevator cars is not on that floor. Every house door must be equipped with interior safety device. Interlock lock in Hollywood doors and doors sign complete the electrical circuit that allow a car move the door on the elevator or carrier door or gates. The door operates in machine mounted on the car two tubes. This machine opens and the cars on the car door. The door receptor in magical device that prevents a car door open when car is moving that 18 inch from the coach and device mounted of the car door which engage the hallway door push roller and actuates the interlock housing both sets and of the door the move towards the car door have opening device of the passenger safety magical safety edge cause of the door the open when activated. Photo eyes utilize light, burn, and shade or reflection if the beam on the brake and while the doors are the causing the door wire open electric proximity. A supplement behind signs and pricks in the door opening. Elevator designed to carry people are passengers elevators. The elevator designed to carry material and freight elevators. The car of the freight elevators is cayenne enclosed and is built to it and every industry the doors on flanking elevators are cayenne gates. You have been introduced to some of the components elevators such as sliding with ties, crosset, bolster or safety line, platform, brace rod, two guard, and planting plane. There are two distinct types of the elevator, hydraulic elevators and traction elevators. Safety features of the elevator include government safeties, buffers, interlocks, and or repelling device. The two elevators classification are passengers and flighter. This video has introduced you to the operation of the safety force on transportation in the world, the elevators.
History of the elevators. Do you know when the elevators were invented? How many changes did it have? Well, I'm going to tell you. The first reference to the elevator is found in the work of the Roman architect Vitruvius, who in his text refers to Archimedes as the first inventor of elevators. It is mentioned that the elevators were composed of cabins supported by hand rope and operated by hand or by animals installed in Egypt. In the books of secrets written by Lbn Khalaf al-Murari, Islamic Spain, described the use of an elevators as a lifting device in order to raising a great weight to hike and destroy a fortress. There were elevator prototypes in some English and French palatial buildings. The ancient and medieval elevators used traction system based on the mechanism of the crane. The invention of another system based on a screw transmission was perhaps the most important step in elevator technology since antiquity, which eventually led to the creating of modern passenger lift. It was built by Ivan Kulibin and installed in the Winter Place in 1793, while several years later another cooling elevator was installed in Arkhangelsk near Moscow in 1823. An elevator car was inaugurated in London. In 1823, an elevator cabin was inaugurated and invented the first force-clean prototype. It was a simple platform attached to a cable to raise and lower goods and people. Thanks to this fact, high buildings were built and later they began to be used in large areas. The fact that marks the evolution of the elevators is the invention of the American Elias, who designed the first elevator with a torch system, what served to caution the fall in case the cable that held in failed. This improvement in security increased the success of the invention. This increased the use of the elevator because it increased the confidence of the people. The elevator manufacturing company patented it and it currently the largest elevator and escalator company in the world. The inventor William Armstrong challenged elevator powered by steam by hydraulic mechanic. This elevator worked by means of the heavy piston that moved in cylinder by means of the pressure of the water or oil that produced the prompts. Thanks to the invention of German von Siemens, we have electronic elevators as you know them today. This inventor added the electronic motor in the elevators. In turn, the cabin that had the engine below rose thanks to gears of the rotation points. Another elevator with an electronic motor was invented, but this time it worked by means of drums that was wound on the lifting rope. In the following years, elevators with screw gears were used that connected the motor to the drum. Then the feature of the elevator operation changed and automatic control is installed and addition more security measures and installed on the doors. The doors stopped became manual and became automatic. As you can see today, this is all I want to say about the history of the elevators.
Do you know the elevators market? How many types of elevators exist? The list of companies that manufacture elevators is very long, but I will talk about some. First one, Fujitec. It was founded on February 1948. Account with the five matrices of administration and management of businesses. Japan, American, includes North and Central and South. European Union, Southeast Asia and East Asian. Products that Fujitec develops, manufactures, sells, installs and maintains is elevators, mechanic stairs, mobile pants, and equipment of vertical and height parking. Another one is Cone, founded on October 27 in 1910 as a public limited company. The name Cone comes from the Finnish and is translated as machine. It is the fourth-word manufacturer of scalers in the world. Its headquarters is in Espoo. Products that it develops, manufactures, and sells is elevators, escalators, mobile ramps, and CCTV installation equipment. Mitsubishi Electronic was founded in 1921. It aims to make lasting social contributions as a leading ecological company worldwide. Products that it develops, produces, and sells are elevators, mechanic stairs, walk-in movement, and air-conditioned system. Mitsubishi also manufactures cars and appliances. And the last one, we have Schindler, a Swiss company. It was founded in 1874 in Switzerland. In 1944, through a representation, the first Schindler elevators arrived in Mexico. In 1954, Ascensores Schindler Mexicana S.A. that's operated in Vallarta Street, number 1, near the Monument to the Revolution. Products development for products that develop, manufactured, and sold are elevators, mechanic stairs, ramps, and platforms. And these are just some of the most recognized companies in the world, and that's all I have to say about them.
Knowing the products that different companies can offer gives us an advantage when developing ourselves as professionals in workplace. What we are trying to do today is to give you a little glimpse of what there is in the working life and induce a little curiosity so that they go further into the world of construction. And finally, I have to say that it is important that the architect is at the forefront of the issues because if not, it will be affected by the new generation, causing in the worst case the loss of employment. Thanks for your listening.